Hi everybody. Guess what? It's me, Esther from Nevada. I kept getting messages every so often from people saying, please record something. We miss you. And I thought, no, I don't want to. I'm not a good podcaster. And finally I just said, okay, I will. Okay, I will. Here I am. I never caught COVID. Never caught it. Knock on some wood, I don't catch it in the future. But I have developed scoliosis, so I'm crippled. I walk with a walker. I'm bent over permanently. You know, yeah. Every time I'm walking in the house, I'm looking down at the floor, and he goes, "What you do? Looking for spare change? Lost change?" Yeah. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Mr. Smart Aleck. I guess I'll just fly into this. I just been staying home reading books and knitting. You know, my only outing is to go to Starbucks or the library. So I'm going to try on this thing and show you. I made this last winter. If you don't think this is warm, oh my God, it's nice. It's made out of Wonder Fluff from Knit Picks. You know, it's a bulky 5. It's a really nice cowl for the winter. It keeps you toasty, boy, real toasty. In fact, sometimes you have to rip it off because you're too hot. But it's October 8th here, and it's not cold yet. It's just starting to cool off. Where the temperatures are in from 80 to like 78 every day, which is nice, you know, but it's still warm. You don't need sweaters. Oh, here's a cute little hat I made. A Pimlico. I've made this before. I think I made it twice even. It's a nice hat. Pimlico is Pimlico. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Or as I heard a person the other day say, Ravelry. It's on Ravelry. No, you don't want to unravel anything or get things all raveled out. You want to go in Ravelry. Okay? What else can I show you? I've been making socks. I'm in the middle of it, of course, as you can see. I'm calling these Swedish modern art socks because each one is different, and the colors sort of remind me of Swedish colors. Here's the one I finished. And each one's different. This will be different than this one, of course. I like those colors. These are Knit Picks. Oh, not all of it. Now let's see. Knit Picks. The yellow, the goldy, nice pretty yellow one, is Knit Picks tweed sock. This is nice. This is a Malintosh sock. It is Modern Fair Isle. Don't you love that? I love Modern Fair Isle. It's so pretty. And then the black is also got some sparkle in it. That's from Knit Picks too. Everything's from Knit Picks except for the Modern Fair Isle whitish one. That's Malintosh. So I'm making that. And then a friend of mine asked for socks. So I gotta get busy. Because as usual, I made one sock. This is her size. This is a little bigger because her foot's a little bit bigger than mine. And I get stuck on the second one. Yeah, you gotta get to going on this stuff. Gotta get working. Oh, I didn't take my medicine yet. I'll put that right there. Okay, let me talk about summer knitting. I tried to make a bunch of summer clothes, and sometimes things don't work out. Like this fits, it's nice, but I stopped because look at this funky neckline. I've got to do something. I guess I have to pick up, but see it dips down. Like, what the heck did I don't know what I did, but I'm gonna have to pick up for the new neckline way down here to cover that up and then go around. It's a nice cotton with nylon in it, so it's drapey and soft. It's this, it just has the ribbing, the cute little ribbing thing at the top. The rest of it's stockinette. All my things, I'm a big girl, but all my things turn out to be huge. I don't know why I make things so big. And so I made this for the summer too. It's just plain. But I used a big needle, so the air gets through. It was too hot for the summer too. You can't do that in Nevada. You can't wear sweaters here, no matter what you think. You can in the air conditioning, of course, but not outside. And not if you don't have air conditioning. Because if you don't have air conditioning, you aren't living here. That's all there is to it. You have to have air conditioning. Those are my 2 summer things. They weren't complete successes, but that's how it goes sometimes. You work for months on something and you go, and you're through. Now, last year, it was winter, and I wanted a new sweater, so I bought this yarn. Oh, it's beautiful yarn. It's Madeline Tosh DK, called in the translation color. Translation. And it's just nice and plain. There's no design on the front. Just a nice thing. But I started it in the winter. Oh boy, I got to get going. And I stalled around and didn't get through with it till the end of spring. This has not been worn. So it's a brand new sweater for this winter. I'm very happy to say. And this fall, when it gets colder. It's about 80, 70, between 78 and 80 every day here now, which is pretty nice, but it's still warm. This sweater is nice. It's just a nice big old utilitarian sweater with a pretty color. Pretty blue, sort of a turquoise. This one, I just finished this. I had this yarn, Madeline Tosh DK, for a long time, and it was in a bag, and I forgot, and I found it. Oh my God. It's called Pigeon Wing. And it looks gray here, but in reality it's bluish gray, and there's blue all through it. And sort of the same, slightly paler than this, but that kind of blue. And then it has all different shades of gray and black and blue. It is so pretty. Pigeon wing. It looks like a pigeon wing. I tried to get more. Can't do it. The color is discontinued, of course. Oh, naturally. I love it. I found this in a knitting book, a knitting pattern book. So I put that in the front. Just a little panel, and it doesn't go all the way down. It's just a nice utilitarian sweater. Let me try it on. I haven't put it on lately. We have the air conditioning on, so it is kind of cold in here. I could stand it. I could take it. It's funny, some people, I won't talk about it, but my experience with podcasting has not been the greatest. It isn't that my listeners, I just don't have very many listeners, and I get a lot of critics too. They say I'm not good enough, and I take it all to heart. And besides, I don't want to work. I want to sit around and daydream and watch movies and stuff, which isn't what I do. I'm retired, I can do that. I used to have a very stressful job. And now I've got no stress in my life unless something happens. Just trying to not get COVID. So far, so good. Yeah, this sweater feels good. All right, what else am I showing you? This is what I'm working on right now. This is my love project. I love this project. I'll probably make another one, different color. It is a hood. And I made this pattern before in gray, and it didn't turn out nice. I used a gray acrylic, and it just didn't turn out good. This is beautiful. Oh, I love it. This yarn is Barocco Blackstone Tweed. And I wanted to buy a bunch more colors. And I wanted to, mix some stuff. And they don't make it anymore. God dang it. Why do you discontinue things so much? Anyway, it's supposed to stop around here, just be a hood. But I'm making it into a poncho cape thing. I have 3 balls. Oh, got almost 4 balls of yarn. I can make this long. It can go way down. Oh, that's gonna be fun. And then if you come in and you take it, put it back. You don't have to wear it. And it's gonna be fun. A poncho cape. Yes. I love it. I got lots of yarn. Just enough. I'm glad I found this yarn. I've been not buying new yarn. I've been using old. And it turns out I had so much old because I just used to spin. I don't anymore. Now I'm using up the yarn I bought because, you can't. It all goes in the stash. And when you buy it like I used to do. And now I just find it in the house. It's great. Free yarn. And it wasn't free to begin with. Those are just the projects I got out to show you. I don't really have much to say. I don't do anything interesting hardly, except from my mind. I watch lots of movies, interesting like things on history, so I can learn things, and movies, and I read lots of books. Right now, I'm reading The Lost Horizon. Remember that old book? It's written in 1933. I never read it. Of course, I saw the movie, which is old also, made in the 30s, I think. Maybe 40s. But the book is so interesting. It's so good. I'm just at the part where they're starting to realize they're not getting out of this monastery. They're staying there. They don't know why. They don't know why they were taken there in the airplane. They don't understand. But there's something in the air, and they're starting to feel all this. I like it here. And we'll find out what happens. I don't know what the deal is. The monks are being very mysterious and quiet. They're not answering any questions. They're being real nice to the people, feeding them and treating them like they're in a motel or a hotel, fancy hotel, but they're not being told when they can leave or if they can leave or why they're there in the first place. Very interesting. 1933. I read another book. I think it was written around the same time. I write my books down here. Let me find that book. It was called Lolly Willows. Oh man, is that a good book? If you can get it. I got it from the library. No, not library. They didn't have it. I got it online on I read it on my computer. I got it online. Yeah. I read it on the computer. Where is it? Lolly Willows, Willowes, by Sylvia Townsend Warner. Never heard of her. She wrote it in 1924. Oh, it is so fun. You've got to try this book. 1924. Lolly Willows. And it's about a lady in England who, she never marries. She just goes from her house to her brother's house. Her mother and father die. She lives with her brother, and she takes care of her nieces and nephews. And she grows up, and she's, late middle age, and she's never been married. And she says, doggone it, I'm tired of being everyone's caretaker. Aunt Lolly. I'm tired of being Aunt Lolly. She moves to the country and becomes a witch. Now, that's all I'm going to tell you. It is good. You've got to read this book. And it's not about witchcraft or anything. It's just a funny, unusual story. You just would love it. I'm telling you. I may as well tell you some of the other books I've been reading. We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves. That was unusual. A girl who's raised with a chimpanzee as a sister. Now that sounds silly and even stupid, but it isn't. It is fascinating. It is extremely humorous. It's a very funny story by Karen Joy Fowler. It was written in 2013. That was very weird. It takes place in California, in the Davis, the campus of Davis University. So I've been there before, so I could imagine it, what it looks like. And so that was fun to read. Another one I loved. You got to read it if you haven't, and even if you read it as a kid once, you got to read it again. It is so good. It's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. You got to read it again as an adult and see how smart that writer was, and how neat America was in those days, so long ago. It was interesting. It was fun to read. I loved it. I love these old books now. I'm reading stuff that I didn't read before. I remember as a kid I read, what's the one where the guy goes to sleep and sleeps for a year? Rip Van Winkle. I gotta read that one again. I read it as a kid, but I don't quite remember it. Something about bowling. I gotta read that one. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. That was fabulous. I couldn't put that book down. I read it in 2 days. I just kept reading. I'd wake up and read, go sleep, wake up and read, take a nap, read. I had to know. I had to see how it ended. It was very good, interesting, wonderful book. I tried to read another by him and I couldn't do it. It was stupid. Cuckoo Land or something. Sorry, can't read Cuckoo Land. It didn't work out. It wasn't anything like All the Light We Cannot See. God, that was a good book. Another good book. I'm telling you, this is the real thing. This is the real deal. The Bone People by Carrie Hulme. 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 It's a book written by what's that little island? New Zealand writer about New Zealand and people. It is fantastic. It won the Booker Prize years ago. The Booker Man Prize. That's what I went through. I went through the Booker Man list and tried to get good books, but not all of them did I find that I liked. One that was in there, the Booker Prize, by an English writer called Bend in the River, by V.S. Naipaul. He's an Indian guy, but he lived and became British. So he's an Indian-British man. He's dead. He got a knighthood or whatever from the Queen, a prize for being a great writer. Bend in the River, really neat, about what happens in Africa, or what did happen in Africa when people tried to sort of like tame the country. It's like Africa can't be tamed kind of thing. And I won't tell you. It was good, really good, very intelligent book. I don't read a lot of intelligent books. So. I read, I keep hearing about Kazuo Ishiguro. I keep seeing things saying he's great. So I read one. Didn't like it that much, called When We Were Orphans. Didn't make much sense to me. I didn't like the way he put it together. It didn't work. And then this other guy that reviews books on YouTube I was watching, he said, well, read the one called, oh gosh, well, I'm so too old for words. Read this other one by him. It's a science fiction. It's great. I tried to. No. Besides, I don't like science fiction. Another good book is Transcription. The same name as that color, that yarn. Transcription by Kate Atkinson. Excellent British writer. Excellent about World War II. Oh, it was so fantastic. It is so interesting. I loved it. And I even read David Copperfield. That was a chore. I am not a big fan of David Copperfield or Charles Dickens. I'm not a Charles Dickens fan. His books are too long, too wordy. Forget about it. But I wanted to read one. I wanted to read one book by him. I think I read parts of other ones, like I read some of Oliver Twist, but I can't stand when kids are getting hurt and tortured and starved and beaten. I can't read things like that. I can't. I don't want to. So I only read like half of it or something. I read half of a lot of great books, so-called great books, classics. Half is about. But now, in my old age, sitting around here with plenty of free time, I decided to get a bunch of classics on Audible, so I could listen to them while I knit or do something else. So I'm going to get into Dostoevsky and other writers that I've never been able to read. I'm going to listen to them. Like I'm listening also to, right now, to Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. What a boring book. But I'm going to get through it. I'm going to read it to the end. It's just so old-fashioned. I mean, the part where Frankenstein's monster is, the monster's trying to explain to Frankenstein why he's such a bad guy. No one loves him, Oh, get over it, Frankenstein's monster. He doesn't have a name. We call him Frankenstein, but he's not. Frankenstein's the man who invented him, who put him together, put all these parts that are all ugly and misshapen and stuff. Okay, that's about all I can do now, and I'm not sure you really wanted to know all that, but I've been asked to come back, so I did. Now, I'll come back once in a while, I guess, if I have something to tell you guys. I miss you. I thought about you a lot in my solitude here. I don't really see people. I don't see many people right now. I have 2 girlfriends I visit. I've told you about them in the past. 2 Trump fans. Oh, Jesus Christ. They insist on being my friend, so they know I don't like Trump, but they insist on being my friend, and so I'm friends with them. We have lunch once a month, and the next one coming up next week on the 11th. Last time we went to this place, the girl picked it who didn't know what it was, and it turned out to be a hippie joint. You can believe it? They still have them. Yeah, for that type of stuff, that kind of food. And all kinds of young people with dreadlocks were there and stuff. It was hilarious because they couldn't get over it. I kept laughing, thinking, boy, this reminds me when I was 21. These used to be my people. I used to be 21 and so forth. Anyway, I just kept kidding them about being hippies, and they're not hippies. They're not at all. So that's my ramble for today. I found I wish I'd have written his name down, but I didn't. I'll do it in my next one. I found a podcast that I adore. I absolutely adore. It is perfect for me, personally. Called Estyknits. She's from Ireland. Oh, she's a neat lady from Ireland. And she just has all the same interests I do, it turns out. She studies the Celts, the Celts. Well, she is Celt. She's Celtic. She's Irish. Well, I'm partly too. I'm Scottish, along with Swedish. And she knits almost all the same patterns I like. Almost all her things I've knit too. Not all of them, but a good many. And her favorite movie is Dancing at Lugnesa with Meryl Streep. Oh my God, Lugnesa is the old Celtic god. And this is him from the, Stone Age or something. I don't know what age, but it's prehistoric god. We only know about him from statues and things. Anyway, she's a really nice lady, and she tells you about the herbs and the plants and the flowers in Ireland that live around her house. And she has a darling son, just adorable son, cute little Dickens. I guess he looks to be about 12 or something. He's really cute. So FROIC knits, I believe. I hope you can find it, and I apologize for not writing it down so I could tell you more cleanly. But you've got to try her. She's wonderful. She just podcasts from her home in Ireland, and it's a lovely home. Okay, that's all. I love you guys, and I'll be back. Bye.